welcome back, everyone. How was your lunch? It was good? Yeah? Did you like the food? Yeah. So now that we're all recharged and we've had an amazing lunch, I think it's time to start up with our next session, which is why edutainment is the future of education. Our next speaker will look to address this question, okay? So please help me give a warm welcome to Amal, CEO and co-founder of Lights, Camera, and Learn.
Sorry, I didn't get your name? Mohammed. Thank you for that warm welcome. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. Sorry, thank you. Cool. Amazing. Okay. Everyone, I want you to meet Reem. She's a Syrian refugee that didn't attend school for 4 years due to her school being bombed. When it was time for her to go back to school, she felt so behind that she disengaged. Now meet Alexandre. He goes to a private boarding school on the outskirts of Paris, and he hates English because he believes his English teacher hates him. He disengaged. These two very different teens have two things in common. One, the school system failed them one way or another. And two, they did eventually re-engage in the classroom, thanks to Lights, Camera, Learn. Now, what we noticed was that 95% of teens have smartphones. And of those, 57% are already content creators. They're on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on a daily basis, actively creating content. However, only 45% of them claim to be engaged in the classroom. And that was before COVID. Hi, my name is Amal, and I'm here to fix that. So I spent the last 5 years of my life meeting over 700 kids and teenagers from 9 different countries, and I had one mission. How can I empower and educate them through the art of filmmaking? Now we're going to try to make a video work. Let's see. Thank you. So, Lights, Camera, Learn speaks the same language that this younger generation is fluent in. And it's a language that the traditional school system has yet to learn. Filmmaking and social media. Now, our solution is simple. We use the process of filmmaking to make learning fun, engaging, and more memorable. Instead of fighting social media, we joined forces and had them actively create content in the classroom and at home. Now, why filmmaking? Because it is the most collaborative, creative, yet technical art of the 21st century, and it is an essential skill for the future. But it isn't used because teachers are not filmmakers, so for them, this is a very daunting task before we step in. But I'm not here to tell you that we can solve all of education's problems with just one click. But we are here to add an extremely efficient, well-researched, yet overlooked tool in an educator's toolbox, a camera. Now, when we think of movie magic, it seems like a pretty big word, right? We're thinking Hollywood, big scale, but let's demystify it with Reem, okay? Reem is a type of learner that just cannot sit still. She's super energetic, very creative, very loud. So, of course, in a traditional school system, she was told she's a lost cause. However, on our set, Reem is a star. During pre-production, Reem learned how to research, how to write, how to delegate tasks, and how to brainstorm ideas. And production taught her how to be confident, how to act, how to collaborate. And post-production taught her to reflect, distribute her work to her community, and celebrate her achievements. And she did all of this while learning a completely new language. To summarize, we do not just teach filmmaking, we teach through filmmaking. And as a great result, we end up producing short, educational, and entertaining films, also known as edutainment. Now, I know some of you here know the word edutainment, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history. So edutainment is a pretty new field, And it started off, actually, it really started expanding with video games. So it's when people started noticing that there was that big boom of video games, and kids would spend, like, I don't know how, 8 hours in school and then go home and spend 8 hours playing video games, and they were way more engaged in their video games than they were in the 8 hours at school. And parents and teachers started noticing that shift. And another one of I don't know if you've ever heard of Mickey Mouse. He was he started off, like Walt Disney started off with Mickey Mouse as an edutainment kind of vehicle. But when we talk about filmmaking and especially like edutainment for edutainment as the future of education, we're talking about it as a way to reach sustainability. So how do those two things mix? Because sustainability comes with accessibility, right? You cannot have a future in which 5% of the population is educated or 10% has access to a really high quality education and the rest of the world isn't. That isn't a sustainable future. It's a divided one. And so schools that produce the best students are usually the schools that have the most resources. It's if you don't understand something, you can get a tutor, or you can go online and find videos that explain that same concept to you 25 different ways, so that you can finally understand that concept with or without someone there, an expert, to explain it to you. So that's where we see the divide, is that some people have access to these resources and some people don't. And you see this a lot online, where, for example, if you want to look up any topic that you learn at school, you want to look it up in English, you'll probably find a lot of videos about that topic in English. But if you are a kid that does not speak English, and for example, you're from Kenya, where they have 45 local languages, and you speak Kikuyu, the chances of you finding a video in your local language are very slim. So immediately you are ostracized. Edutainment is not just about making learning fun, but it's also about keeping up with the times and bringing learning to the learner. It's not trying to mold the learner into a box for the system. So that's when we are talking about accessibility, we're talking about there are different types of learners. There are learners that need to be making movies in order to learn and be moving, but also learners that need access to all these videos. So far, our students have produced over 130 short films. The best part is nothing like it exists online. Other people in the industry focus more on a top-down approach, where teachers are producing videos for students. However, we focus on a bottom-up approach, where students are producing videos for each other. Now, imagine with me for a second. Imagine you are back to your 11-year-old selves. I don't know how many students do we have here in the classroom? How many of you are still in school? Only a couple. Okay. So imagine you're your younger selves. They're in high school or middle school, and you have you're in history class, for example. Okay, and you have to write 4 essays that semester. Imagine if we switched one of those essays into a group film. Okay. Now, what that would look like is, let's say you're in a class of 30 students. And you're in groups of 10 and you make one movie. So in that class, you made 3 films per semester, and every grade there's 300 students. That's 30 films per grade. And now let's imagine there's 10 grades. That's 3,000 edutainment films per semester, per subject. Per year, that's 6,000 films, and that's for one school. Now imagine if we did 3 schools, or 6 schools, or 20 schools. All of a sudden, we would have a database online of thousands of films, all from one location, where the curriculum is not only in books, or it's not only in the teacher's mind, or it's not only in someone's notes somewhere, but it's online, free for everyone to see. And they're actually fun, because students like to have fun, and they like to make videos that reflect who they are. So that is where we can start imagining a different future for edutainment in local places. This is where we're talking about sustainability, because it's not about outsourcing. It's not about going to a great production company in Australia and saying, hey, can you digitize our curriculum for us? It's about the youth here, the locals here, digitizing their own content and having fun while doing it, and that will last centuries because it's in the system now. So it's not like you make one video and then 10 years from now it's irrelevant. Every year we're making new videos, we're getting better and better at it, and we're updating the curriculum as it goes, digitally as well as in person. So far, we as Lights Camera Learn have been doing this in a small way through, this was 130 films that we made. In a small way through summer camps. So we've produced 130 short films in a short amount of time. We do it in a week. And what we've done so far is we've done the Robin Hood model. So I told you we did it in 9 countries, for example. So we did it in France, and we are trying a model where like a student like Alexandre in France can support underprivileged students like Reem to participate in the same program. So we've already done this around the world. We've trained over 100 educators to include filmmaking in their classrooms. And our goal is, this is in Sharjah, and our goal is to reach 1 million students by 2024. So we are here to re-engage students like Reem and Alexandre by speaking their language, building their confidence, keeping them edutained by bringing the camera into the classroom, and thus bringing the classroom to the rest of the world. Thank you very much.